Welcome to Logistics Unplugged. My name is Brian Blaylock, and I'm your host, and I'm happy to jump in today to all things logistics. So let's pull back the curtain, take a look under the hood, and have a great discussion. Today, I'm extremely excited to have a good friend, but someone who's in charge of culture for Blue Grace Logistics, my friend Christian Smize. Christian, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so I guess the audience probably knows what the topic is today. We're going to talk company culture, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that means, and I'm going to kind of soak some of that in from you, Christian, really try to understand all the things that you put into this melting pot that makes this turn out to be a great place to spend the day, right?
Sure.
And hopefully this will influence other companies to be able to do the same, because we want to talk about not just what happens inside these walls, but what happens in work life and how we find that balance by letting culture leverage what happens in the workplace.
Sure.
So I'm going to start by having you talk to me a little bit about what culture means in general, but more in the workplace. What's a healthy culture in the workplace?
Yeah, so culture can mean a ton of different things to different people. So it could be, what is your feeling when you wake up Sunday morning and you know you have to go to work the next day? It can be something like that. You might be miserable driving to work that Monday morning, or it could be the total opposite. You could be so happy to get into work, start seeing your coworkers, your friends, and you spend more than 40 hours with some of these people a week, if not more. So you obviously want to have a good time with what you're doing and try to make the most out of it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And Christian, I think it's, to your point, it is being happy with where we all hate the drive, right? Unless you're right across the street. So we might all be a little bit road rage-ish on the way in, but if when you arrive on the other side of that, you become happier than you were when you're in the car, that's a success,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
That's not somebody who is looking at the clock all day just trying to find out, when is this thing going to be over?
When's 5 o'clock come around?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And so let's talk about not only how you organize that feeling for the employees. How do we get people involved? How do we make people make this something? And it's not that you're trying to tie people in to do more, right? It's that you want people to have that work-life balance, but sometimes that actually happens at work, right?
Sure. Yeah, so a lot, we look for people that, have a good sense of culture. It starts with the TA team. They look for people that want to come to work, that want to make a career for themselves, people that want to strive to do better and have goals and want to accomplish those goals. So I think it starts there when we're interviewing people. We look for those key qualities and, if they seem like they're a good fit. We share what we do here at Blue Grace with them, and if that's a good fit for them, then it seems like a match. We go from there, and then we kind of, pour out our culture into these people, and they seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah, and hope some comes from them too, right? So I think every piece of this pie that comes in adds another ingredient, adds a little something to it. So I'm going to ask you the easy question for you. It might be a hard question for somebody else in a different seat in the company. Christian, what really matters more when someone is coming into a business? Is it the specific skills that they have, or is it their fit to the culture of the company?
I think definitely the fit to the culture of the company. You can teach anyone those skills, but if the culture fit isn't there, it's a little harder to get someone to jump on board with that than, to teach them a skill.
100% agree. I could be replaced tomorrow by a better version of myself.
Never.
But fortunately, I am a culture fit. So, listen, we joke about that a little bit. And culture is not just the fun things that you do in the company, but that is important, right? It is important to find some activity. So I'm going to jump into that a little bit first. I'm going to rearrange the order of what I was going to talk to you about a little bit, Christian. But on that fun part, I know you do a lot of things here. Tell me about some of the things that are your favorite events from a standpoint of just customer engagement and joy and fun. I mean, one of our core values, right?
Yeah, be happy, humble, and have fun. Our last.
You got it.
Value,
I was going to test you on those. I think that's a.
What color is it though, Brian? What color?
Oh man, is that blue?
That one's the pink one.
Pink. Oh crap!
The pink
all right,
value. Number 5.
Wrong answer. I get 2 more chances, or I'm kicked off the Family Feud. So, talk to me about some of your favorite ways that you tie people together, some of the favorite things that we do in culture.
Yeah, so culture, I mean, for me, Blue Grace hires someone to run and implement the culture here. So we have someone that's dedicated, me in this situation, that
You know a guy, right?
right, that tries to encourage people to participate and have fun. You want to make work fun while you're at work. So we do all the things that we can at work. For Boo Grace is our Halloween party here. That's one of the events that we do. It's our biggest culture event of the year, probably. Everyone dresses up. It's honestly, sadly, probably the most unproductive day of the year. It's getting better, though. Everyone dresses up, builds costumes, goes and buys costumes. Everyone takes pictures, and it's almost like being a kid again, and it just shows everyone's creative side. So that's one of the things we do here at Blue Grace. The whole office transforms. Everyone decorates their space. We've done haunted houses in the office before. We've had people bring in their kids for after hours for a little trick-or-treating, and that's just always a good time there.
I think it's funny, Christian, that you mentioned that. I mean, yeah, it could be slightly unproductive on getting things done, but I mean, productive is a relative term. Mm-hmm. You said it, getting people's family involved, making this a bigger part of your life. It's funny, when I first came here, Christian, I was warned that you're going to feel more uncomfortable not dressing up
yes.
for Blue Grace than if you do. So I made sure to. Yeah. Made sure to go.
You got to save a PTO day if you don't want to dress up.
Yeah, exactly. But you mentioned it. People bring their families in. They bring their kids in. It lets us kind of open up to the community. It lets the community know a little bit more about what we're about. Mm-hmm. And on that lane of what we're about, culture is important in terms of happiness for the employees. I absolutely get that. But it also, I think, matters to people. Does the company that you work for do things that are important? Do we give back? Do we help out? So talk to me a little bit about that. Talk to me a little bit about how giving back in the culture of charity or the culture of helping. Tell me about what that means to Blue Grace.
So Blue Grace has a ton of philanthropic initiatives that we do. Our core value number one, be caring of all others. That word all is really important.
What color is that, Christian?
That one's the dark blue.
Dark blue, okay,
yes,
got it.
That is the most important of our core values. And we really included that word all in that phrase because not only humans do we care about, but pets too. So Blue Grace is really active with the local humane societies and each area where we have an office. So in Tampa, the Humane Society of Tampa Bay, we are actively involved with them. We do a Cats versus Dogs charity drive every year. Shortly coming up, right after 4th of July, we're going to kick it off, where we split up the entire organization into two teams, Teams Cats and Team Dogs. And we just come together and raise as much dog and cat food that we can for animals and humane societies local to each location. So that's one way that we give back to the communities through our humane societies. And then we also try to do specific drives towards human charities.
I like it.
For instance, in Tampa, we work with the Metropolitan Ministries charity. Every year we do different things with them throughout the year. One being Toys for Tots. We used to do Backpacks of Hopes, but now we are calling it Supplies for Success, where we donate different school supplies for children. So yeah, we're actively involved in different charities throughout the year.
I like it. And, when you started off, when you were talking about the Cats versus Dogs, I think sometimes it goes without saying that, yes, this is a charity, and it's very important with the Humane Society and the support that we offer there. But there's something that we get back from those pets. So this is just as much a human engagement thing as it is a pet engagement thing. And I appreciate the hard work that you put into that,
Definitely.
Christian.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And everything, I just about gave you bagpipes. Bagpipes of Hope. If you're Scottish, you'll enjoy the bagpipes. Or is it Irish? Who does the bagpipes?
I think Scottish. Yeah.
Backpacks of Hope.
Yep.
And you changed it now. What was the new name?
Supplies for Success now.
Supplies for Success. I love it. So, being able to get the kids off on the right foot and kind of helping out those who maybe are struggling a bit and could use a lift up. I think that's a noble goal.
Yep.
And the industry that we're in, listen, we all have access, whether it's us here or other companies that live in our space. we have access to relationships with a lot of companies, so there's no reason not to be able to try to leverage some of those relationships and some of those capabilities, and all of us try to give a little bit back. I think that is. I always joke, Christian, with new folks that are getting into sales for the first. I don't think it's a joke. That might not be how I mean. I always tell people that are getting into sales for the first time, sales is actually very easy. You find a company that you believe in and a service that people actually need, and you just tell the truth, and you find a good way to tell that truth. And I think some of what you do here within the organization and what others within their organizations do that are driving the improvement of culture, whether it's doing things for the society that they live in, whether it's doing things for the communities that they live in, or whether it's just keeping engagement so people are happier. Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
That's a great place to start from. And so I have a super important question for you, Christian. Usually I abuse people with music songs or you listen, this is culture, so I have to come up with some cultural references, right? So looking back at all for me, it'd be thousands. For you, it'd be, dozens of movies and TV shows that you've watched over the years. Pick a movie or a TV show and tell me about the worst business culture you saw in that fictitious business.
Okay, yeah. First one that comes to mind is I was definitely more of a Parks and Rec guy. I watched that, but
good show. Probably not the ideal way.
Not the worst. No, they're pretty funny. They give me a good laugh, and there's definitely some things in the office that you can you see or things happen. You're like, oh, that's definitely that episode that I saw. But
good for comedic interference, but maybe you shouldn't do that in the real world.
Right,
kind of
exactly.
Okay.
And then Wolf of Wall Street definitely comes to mind. It's I think if you have to see the movie to understand, but
so many images coming to mind as you're saying that. So many things that you can do wrong.
Yes.
Speaking of that sales world and tying that together a bit, I always joke that you can always tell a manager, and we don't have any of those here, and if yours does, run for cover. You can always tell the sales leaders who watched every bad sales movie in the world, but only watch the first half, and think, "Oh, this is how I'm supposed to drive the activity. Or this is how I'm supposed to do things. I'm going to try that out." They forget to watch the other of the movie where people are leaving in handcuffs, or very very unhappy, very miserably. So love it. Good choices there, Christian. Let's talk a little bit about the strength of a company when you are trying to develop something that encourages long-term engagement. You want people to stay here for a while, right? How do you put things together that encourage longer-term commitment so that you can build a culture not only of good, happy employees, but people that stay?
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. So you want to ask for feedback, see what people want to get involved with. Submitted surveys out to our employees to see what are their interest in. Obviously, Blue Grace has their key focuses. But I think, seeing what your employees want to dive into and invest their time and how they want to spend their time while they're at work, I think that definitely helps. We have an alumni association here. Hopefully, no one ever leaves, but if they do, there's still opportunities for them to get involved with Blue Grace, ways to stay connected. If everyone leaves on good terms, the door is always open for them to come back. So we try to generate engagement culture events for people to participate in, and it's up to the employee to just take a step forward and get involved with that initiative. But I think that's what we try to do.
I don't think you can ask for a better way forward than listening to the people. And you said it, asking those questions, getting that feedback, but not just getting the feedback, doing something with the feedback that you get. And I know that happens. I see it in action. And Christian, just as somebody who I've told my story a few times. I mean, I came to Blue Grace 10 years ago, or sort of at the tail end of my career, and I only plan to stay for a couple of years and just enjoy it.
Right.
As that maybe transition on. But it makes it kind of hard to leave.
Yeah.
Some of the things that happen in the building, some of the relationships that you build, and I'll tell you the truth, Christian, you're probably one of those people that make this place
thank you, Brian.
Interesting in that way, even before you stepped into this role. So the kindness that you can have in between people comes from an environment where they're happy to be there in the first place. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. I would say the same thing. I came here not looking to be here 8 years later, and here I am. You you make friends and you invest yourself in these people, they to you, and you make good relationships. And loyalty is a big thing here at Blue Grace, and we try to make it a fun place to work at.
I mean, and that's what you've done. And so I'm going to ask you to help out in any way you can as some first steps to companies that maybe, you focused on raising capital, you focused on getting a product built, you focused on getting technology in place. Mm-hmm. And maybe the emphasis wasn't yet on that part of the focus, but now it's time to be there for the long term. Now it's time to be stable and be a place that people can look forward to walking into every day. So give the folks a couple of good ideas of how to get started.
Yeah.
How do you start building that culture to your company?
Yeah. So here at Blue Grace, we have a culture committee team. So I think that kind of helps getting someone from each department to spend some time with the committee and generate different ideas of how they can improve the company culture, different ways for the company to promote events, for people to get involved. So I think maybe just getting a little perspective from each face of the organization. I think that would definitely help to see where, your teams, because they're all in their little silos talking amongst each other.
Absolutely.
So if you can hear a voice from each department, that would definitely help get things started.
That's great, and it goes in your same thing, Christian, is listening to the people, and maybe broadening that net a little bit. To your point, having the group, mm-hmm. and having folks from the different verticals within the company that are making sure. And I think one thing that you've done a great job on, and any company that's listening probably take hold of this, is there are silos in all companies, right? But maybe there shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. Maybe there should be ways to draw connections in between those silos, and the culture of the company is one of those ways.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I may not work with IT all the time. Of course, they know that that's not true because I tear up enough stuff that I have constant contact with.
I'm their favorite person.
Control, Alt, Delete. Just restart your computer, Christian. But the way that, I walked around with some of our development team at Sports Fest for a couple hours, just had a great time. All the things that you can do that make you part of not just the business that you do, but the company that you're at, and sometimes even the industry that you're in. Mm-hmm. You take it outside those doors, and whether it's associations or things that are part of that. I love that. Just listen to the people, put your tentacles into everything, and draw it all together. Christian, I can't tell you how much I enjoy this. We waited too long to do it, so thanks for coming in today, and thanks for kicking this off. And folks, hope this gave you a little takeaway to kind of help build the culture at your companies.
Absolutely.
And if it's not, give us a call. Listen, every week we enjoy doing this, bringing something a little bit different. Hope you enjoyed it too. We thank you for listening. We thank you for downloading it. Make sure you do it every Tuesday. And that's a wrap for Logistics Unplugged.